me start first by thanking you for the award. It really means a lot. It's my pleasure to have taken part in this competition. And I have to say, your choice of a very intriguing and interesting topic for the ACA is what drew me to participate in the first place. Um, Although COVID 19 is primarily a health emergency, it had nevertheless presented education with a host of challenges in both its pedagogic and non pedagogic aspects. And my thesis of my essay was that the international policy response was predominantly biased towards accommodating the pandemic's effects on pedagogic aspects. And this is at the expense of the non pedagogic aspects. Evidentially, less attention was given to the school's function as safety and support network. And that's precisely what my essay tackles. So, as you can notice, school closures presented educational system with challenges beyond pedagogy itself. We can see this in our everyday. So let me list them for you. They limited the socialization aspect of schooling and significantly increased the screen time of students across all educational stages, of course. Additionally, closures exposed hundreds of millions of children who rely on free or low priced school meals to the risk of malnutrition. Also, losing access to healthcare and mental health support provided by schools and universities, of course, exposed vulnerable children to disease and to domestic abuse. A recent study demonstrates a variety of negative emotions expressed by students forced to promptly convert to distant learning. These negative feelings include boredom, anxiety, frustration, and anger. Um, these findings are highly concerning, particularly when coupled with the continued decline in student engagement in class discussions and out of class activities. That's for the non pedagogic aspects. And for the pedagogic aspects, the adjustment to the changes brought about by the pandemic seems relatively straightforward. So far, thanks to pre existing initiatives and infrastructures for distant online learning, the biggest challenge now will be ensuring an inclusive and equal access to online learning resources. And we have initiatives in this department. And this is exactly what raises optimism about the ongoing transformation of pedagogy during the time of the pandemic and generally.
As you mentioned, I'm an environmental engineer by trade, but education is my passion, and I always dreamed of being a teacher. And working in Egypt in sustainable development and environmental issues really increased my appreciation for educators because promoting environmental and sustainable development issues is very challenging. And there's a lot of reasons for that. And the main reasons that I perceive them to be, and this was the main focus of my paper, is that traditional education is very reductionist. And so sustainable issues have been taught separately from all other topics. And sustainable development requires non-reductionist thinking and collaboration through creative projects in our interconnected world. And these were the two main ideas in my paper. And I will briefly read some of the points from my paper to sort of highlight what I'm getting at. So the pandemic of COVID-19 has provided an opportunity for nations to re-examine education strategies and methodologies. And the use of project-based learning has increased, and it's a valuable tool that can be incorporated into the online platform used by many schools during closures. However, project-based learning and online learning, like Dali has already said, have highlighted some of the problems in the global education system. First of all, teachers who are at the forefront of education efforts must receive adequate training and pay so that they can provide students with a rich learning experience. At the same time, according to the World Economic Forum, Online learning has exacerbated the differences between rich and poor countries, schools, and students because not all communities or homes have the resources and equipment needed, which prevents them from participating fully in the online delivered education. Furthermore, not all parents have the knowledge or the skills or the time to support their children's online learning experience. So, all in all, COVID 19 has brought many educational challenges to the forefront, and the pandemic has forced educators to rethink and redesign learning strategies and has provided an opportunity to disengage from the traditional reductionist learning. Project based learning is just one tool to use in order to prepare young and older learners from the many complexities of the real world, such as the COVID 19 pandemic. At the same time, COVID 19 has drawn attention to the disparities between rich and poor, citizens and parents, challenges in supporting their children's online learning at home. So, education reform opportunities can and should be born out of these challenges.
The new pandemic COVID 19 is causing more than 1.6 billion students and children to be out of schools in about 161 countries around the world. Taking into our consideration that some countries already suffer from substandard educational systems, which makes even the problem worse. Online education was the option available, so most countries adopted it to solve the problem of education during the time of pandemic, but it has some crucial challenges which may hinder the entire educational system, including the poor internet connection, the socioeconomic status of some students, the psychological impacts, and the ineffective way of assessment. All these challenges may be putting the future of our next generation at risk. So, great efforts must be done. All societies, families, social foundations, civil societies must accept and take their shares of responsibility and act accordingly.